Welcome back. A very special Inside South Florida shout out to everyone watching this morning in Fort Lauderdale. Thank you. Entrepreneur Chad Bronstein is no stranger to hard work. At just 35 years old, he has established himself as a trailblazer in tech and cannabis, bridging the gap between major mainstream brands and the undervalued market of cannabis consumers. I spent some time with him and got the lowdown on his success and his life.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
It's great to have you here. Super impressed with you, man. You've been called one of the most successful young entrepreneurs of your generation. That's a title, man. How did you cultivate your business acumen?
Since a young age, I've always had entrepreneurial spirit. My parents always, pushed me to work and do things. And, I always just, they would say I was a nag because I was always nagging for something. And so in order to get that something, I'd always have to work for it. So, I always figured out ways. And so I think it's just, always been an entrepreneur and been a, competitive person and just, more competitive with myself and like, what can I do to be better? And so, yeah, I think it was born in me.
You have all those incredible traits, right? Throughout your childhood, I'm sure your young adulthood, you realized that you were a special person. Was there one moment, Chad, where you thought, wow, I absolutely and actually have what it takes to be very successful?
I mean, I think that's a good question. I think that when I was 10 or 11 years old, there was everyone loves this story. I don't know why, but there's the Beanie Baby trend. And it's kind of like how Pokemon is for this generation. And everyone's like, these are collectibles. We're going to keep them forever. And I was, hitting up the paper, calling people and buying the ones that were worth money and then selling them. And I think, that was the start of like what I knew I was good at in sales. And I think, I've been taught, and I think you learn this as older, just to be confident and manifest kind of what you want. And so I think for me, it's just always believing in myself. And I've had a good support system behind me to push me to be better.
Your genius, Chad, has birthed several successful endeavors ranging from tech to sports to fitness, specifically Fyllo, which is a hybrid of cannabis and tech. Why did you want to meld those two worlds?
What it was I was running a large company. I was bored, to be frank. And I had a couple opportunities and I just wasn't feeling it. And I wanted to jump into, I like challenging environments. And I like to do things that most people wouldn't, right? And so cannabis just seemed like an opportunity to really bring in pedigree with not just me, but the people around me that I asked, hey, I'm gonna start this cannabis company. Do you wanna come with me? And they're like, yeah, we like the opportunity. So we saw an opportunity to build a company that would eventually become mainstream. And when I say mainstream, it's destigmatize what people think of cannabis and then take it mainstream. And we've done that. We have mainstream brands buying our data constantly. And it's just been a really fun experience to learn a lot. I've learned so much about what cannabis is and how it helps people. And so, yeah, it was a trend that I saw as a good opportunity that I ended up really loving what I do with that.
You're at heart an athlete, right? You are a sports enthusiast, and your business acumen also led you to conquer the world of that, teaming up with Mike Tyson, of all people. Mike Tyson, you're like, when someone says that to you and you actually stop and sit down and think about who Mike Tyson is, do you have a moment you're like, wait a minute, yeah, this guy's a legend?
Yeah, no, I have those moments a lot with Mike. You don't realize it when you're with him because he's super down to earth, and everywhere I go with him, like he treats everyone, anyone that stops him, he'll talk to. The reason why Mike's so successful is he talks, both from like decriminalizing cannabis, and getting people out of the prison system, as well as how cannabis has helped him become a better person. And so that's why it's been a successful endeavor. And I back to your question is, yeah, there's a lot of times I'm like, Mike Tyson touches a nostalgic memory for everybody. You can be 5 years old, my son, who knows about what Mike Tyson is, and then my grandfather's passed, who's 100 years old, who knows who Mike Tyson is, right? And so that's what Mike is, an icon.
For you, after everything you've done, all the success that you've achieved at such a very young age, again, one of the youngest, most successful entrepreneurs in recent time, what does the future look like? Is there a time where Chad will say, hey, I'm done. Let me go and ride off into the sunset with all my bags of money?
I think for me, it's like I definitely will eventually not operate companies and move in towards continuing to help other companies. I invest in a lot of companies, and I'm more of a, hustler and operator myself. So I personally would like to go help other CEOs in the future, start things they're passionate about, and my team, the people I work with, and help those companies grow. So I think the future would be stepping back from operations and moving more towards venture in the future so I can help other companies.
Whatever you do, you're going to be a colossal success. Chad, where can we find out more about Fyllo?
HelloFyllo.com.
HelloFyllo.com. Entrepreneur Chad Bronstein. Wonderful to have you on Inside South Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for having me. Appreciate it.